morning, everyone. I'm so glad that you're here with us this morning, and it is a great day to be together. Today, we are going to talk about feelings versus behavior, because there's a definite difference between how we feel about things and our behavior. So, we are going to use our imagination and think of ourselves as a train. And I'm going to bring up my screen. Can you give me a thumbs up if you see this? Does everyone see this? Great. Okay, so for today, we are going to talk about us as being a train. And if we are a train, the main car is our brain. The engine represents our brain. The middle cars represent our feelings or our emotions, and the caboose represents our physical body or our behavior. So my first question to ask you is if you can explain the difference between feelings and emotions. Feelings and behavior. So I'm going to stop sharing so that I can see your chats. Could someone or a couple of you give me your thoughts and write in the chat what exactly are our feelings, or what is the difference between our feelings and our behaviors? Feelings are things you feel, behaviors are actions you commit. Great response. Any other things that people would want to add on? Sometimes we act out because of our feelings, and other times we hold our feelings in so that we don't hurt others. Our behaviors are affected by our feelings. Feelings influence behavior. These are great answers. You guys are going to be ready to teach this class instead of me. This is great. So if we look back at our train, let's go back here. So if we think of ourselves as our engine is our brain, and then our feelings are the cars in between. Now, feelings are important. We do not want to just shove our feelings in a corner and forget about them, because eventually they'll come out. We need to process our feelings. Our feelings are there for a reason. God gave them to us for a reason. So it's important that they get some attention. So we have feelings like if we feel disappointed in something, if we feel excited about something, if we feel lonely. There are times where we feel lonely, and as we've talked with different ones, we know over the last couple of years when schools were shut down and our normal activities were shut down, there was a lot of young people that were really experienced this feeling lonely. Feeling angry. Angry is an important one that we have to process. If we just try to shove that in a corner and not give it any attention, that just builds and builds and builds until it gets to the point of exploding. And we don't want that. We need to process it when we feel angry. Feeling affectionate towards someone. And then last, we have our caboose, which is going to represent our body and our behavior. Now, picture, if you will, when I have 3 sons, as most of you know, when my sons were little, they loved to watch Thomas the Tank Engine. And they watched this little show of these trains and all their adventures that they have. And they had their own train track, and they would play trains, and they loved it. And if you, as you build different things, you can switch the track so they can go a different direction, and you can switch it back. So if you're going along and your brain is directing things, and you're thinking through and you're processing through all your trains of emotions and feelings, and you've got your caboose at the back, well, if you're headed along and your brain chooses, okay, we're going to take the track to the left, But then all of a sudden, your affectionate train realizes, ooh, I like what's over there. I really like the food that's available over there. I want to go get some of those juicy apples. And the affectionate one, which is in the middle, decides that where the track split, it wanted to go this way. Think about what happens to the train when a different car chooses to go a different direction. That causes a crash. That causes derailment. And that's what we don't want in our lives. As we are processing through our life decisions, we want to be leading things with our brain, with our thinking. We want to be able to think through things, leave time to honor our emotions, process our emotions, but then our caboose, our body, our behavior falls in line with what our brain has decided. So we want to think about how our feelings and emotions, they're not wrong. We need to have them, we need to express them, we need to process through them in a safe way. But when we make decisions based on our feelings, how we feel about something today, and this is something that is a little bit counterculture, because if you're out in the store, there's all these signs and art that say, do what feels right. But that's not actually a lot of wisdom. Sometimes what feels right is to eat junk food and watch movies instead of do my homework. And that's probably not the best decision. And so as much as there's room for doing things that we enjoy, when we're making life decisions, we need to be using our brain and thinking through, how does this direct my actions and how does this work? How is this going to work out for me? If I choose watching movies and eating junk food instead of doing my homework, that might not work out so well for me when it comes to going back to school or having a test. So we need to be thinking with our brain, processing our feelings and our emotions, and then allowing our actual actions to fall in line. As I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about our brain and being the engine, that's like in train world, that's called the locomotive. It provides the power for the train. So our brains and our thought process should provide the power driving our life. Whereas the caboose in an old traditional train, that's what houses the crew, those who take care of the train, who take care of the car to make sure everything's in check. They hang out, they sleep, they live in the caboose. And so it's really important in our whole picture of our feelings, our thoughts, our emotions, our physical body, that we have things in place where we're making sure that we have healthy emotions, that we're keeping that in check, but that we're all falling in line with, I've thought through this, this is wisdom, these are the decisions that I need to make with my life. So as we are wrapping up for today and moving on to our next presenter, I just want to encourage you to lead your decision making with your brain. Allow your emotions the freedom to express, the freedom to process. Find safe people to express your emotions with, people that are going to help keep you on track. And then have your body, your behavior, your actions fall in line with your right thinking of the decisions that you're going to make.